Hello world, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are doing a pick a card reading, really a pick a crystal reading. The crystals are the important things to connect with this week. And yeah, we're gonna work with kind of some difficult energy and moving past that. So if you feel like you've been in a rut, you feel like you've just have been dealing with some difficult energy, astrologically, that would make a lot of sense because we just had a full moon in Pisces. If you're watching this when I'm uploading the video, if you're watching this further down the road, that's okay. As long as you feel like you've been dealing with some tough energy and we need some strategies to move past that and release it. If you want another kind of, if none of that resonates with you, that's okay. I have other pick a card readings, or maybe this is not your week, but I just want to tell you that because I feel like some of my best readings, like everybody just wants to hear a ton of good news, and I feel like we have good news here. However, we are all having a human experience and we all have emotions, and especially that full moon in Pisces kicks some things off, and then we've got so many planets in retrograde. I kind of put that together after the readings. I'm like, why is it like this? I'm like, oh yeah, that's why. So for group number one, this is a, they call it healer's gold. It has pyrite in it. It's got some iron in it. That's why we have like this rusty look. It's just a really, interesting looking crystal. So that's what we have here in group number one. By the way, all of these groups work with different chakras. I talk about that and as strategies to move forward as well. Group number two, this is Smoky Quartz, and look how clear that is. You can see right through that Smoky Quartz. For group number three, this is Chrysocolla. So this is Chrysocolla and Quartz. So the base white is Quartz, and then we've got Chrysocolla, and again, these all work with really different chakras. The different strategies to, again, help us deal with emotions, help us move out of this rut, help us to move forward. And that's what I really love about working with the cards, because we all have issues, right? We all have our days, and that's what this is here for. So if you're still not sure which group is for you, we're just gonna do a little breathing exercise just to be here in the moment. We're gonna set intentions, so just go ahead and take a nice seat where you're comfortable. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in. Release out any tension. We're going to set the intention that you get the messages and the guidance that you're here to receive, that you need to receive. Go ahead and take another deep breath in and release. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes, and wherever your eyes are drawn, that is the group for you. And I've got the timestamps down below in the description. I will meet you at your reading. Thanks so much for being here. Hello, group one. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on this crystal here and talking about it. This is called Healer's Gold. So it's got some pyrite in here, but it also has that magnetite. It is mined out of Arizona, and that's why it has this. Well, it's interesting because it looks different than just normal pyrite, because we have this, I think it has some iron in it here that we're seeing that's rusting, so it's very pretty. But the properties of Healer's Gold is supposed to be the perfect companion for a healer. I think for you, if you were really drawn to this crystal, next week just pay attention to your health. Make sure that you are eating those vegetables, getting those vitamins, taking care of yourself. Maybe spend a little bit extra time on what it is for you to live a healthy lifestyle. Introduce those things. I think it will really help you. This stone is said to encourage positive energy while keeping away exhaustion. So, when you are exhausted, it means something. Make sure that you're taking breaks and resting, and when you feel good, do things, but you don't have to push yourself either. This strengthens chakras, so you might want to do a chakra meditation or maybe look at your different chakras and make sure that you're in alignment, because we want the energy to flow through our body, and that helps increase our energy as well. And it's said to improve decisiveness, enhance creativity, and confidence. So who doesn't want that? I just think it's such a really pretty crystal. We'll just put it right there while we look at the cards. So what else can you tell us for group number 1 for next week? We've got, Three of Cups reversed. Let's see what else comes out before wow, okay. Let's see if this other card is reversed, and then it is. Look at this though. Okay, so I do really feel like you've got some blocked energy. I think it was right on when we're talking about the chakras and aligning those chakras, because look at the flow here too. Three of Cups. Cups is about emotions, but it's water, it's flow. High Priestess, again, our intuition, that flow. We've got water on the card. The Moon also has water on this card. Both of these two cards are like the biggest cards in the deck relating to our intuition. And then the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is somebody who is very inquisitive, obviously. Here, I love this particular Page of Wands. And somebody who acts, somebody who goes out and maybe they don't quite know creativity for sure. Wands are related to creativity, but it is like that act of doing, that you know what you want to do, so you go and do it. And when we've got all of these in reverse, that's why I was saying, like, I think the chakras was right on. I feel like you've got some energy that's blocked. And that is why the cards all came in reversed, because that tells me something in and of itself. I think we need to have a little bit of pep talk here about trusting yourself and your intuition. I think it starts off here with a friend group. It may be friends that you have around you. Some of us, we kind of feel left out. I love that we've got these circles here, and we've got our group of friends that really understand us, really know who we are, and we are able to reveal ourselves to them. The High Priestess, there, and the Moon kind of indicates maybe some secrets, some pulling back of things, holding back. And then the Page of Wands would indicate that the reason you're holding back is because of uncertainty. You don't have, there's maybe a lack of confidence here, that you're not quite sure where to go. Or it can also be a creativity block, a writer's block, that kind of thing. It's interesting that I kind of feel like the Page of Wands reversed is the answer to writer's block is just doing it, just sitting down and writing. And I kind of feel like I almost feel like a little bit of a sadness or a sorrow here. And this is just part of life. There's an ebb and flow to things that, sometimes we're just not the most confident in our skills, in our abilities, in our trust. We would like to see signs. We would like to have logic. We would like to know things. We would like to have those steps, that process. And this kind of indicates that you've maybe gone along with that process and it has not worked. That process might be, there's a lot of societal processes that we can talk about. one of those processes could be, you know, going through school. You're supposed to graduate, you're supposed to get good grades, you're supposed to go on to college, you're supposed to get that degree. And a lot of times those are just automatic things that we do because we're told if we do those things, we're supposed to have success. And a lot of times we don't even think about, well, is it really meaningful or successful to me if I have this high-powered job? I would rather be doing something else. So if you're in the middle of a process like that, maybe it's a dating kind of thing where you're supposed to be doing these specific steps to find that life partner, or you're supposed to be doing these specific steps to write a book, or these specific steps to whatever that accomplishment is supposed to be. It can, you know, maybe it's not necessarily an education thing, but it's in your work too. And I kind of feel like when we had all of these guys in reverse, that you're not fully seeing the result that you were promised. And one thing is to kind of step away from it a little bit. Sometimes, you know, success, it's coming, it's there, we know it's there, but when we're pushing a little bit too hard, it just seems to get further and further and further away. And we're supposed to attract, not like, if you think about a butterfly, if you want to catch a butterfly, the more you chase a butterfly, the more it moves away from you. But there are ways to attract that butterfly, and it comes to you. And I feel like your success is something that, first of all, you need to think about, is that what you've been chasing, what you really want to chase in the first place? Before you ask these questions, though, it's kind of get with your team here. Now, we need to get out of that frustration. We need to kind of break the cycle, I would say, a little bit. So instead of pushing and pushing and trying, step back, step away, go enjoy some time with your friends. And a lot of times this is the exact kind of break that we need to kind of figure things out. High Priestess and the Moon, these are both cards that are so connected to our intuition. Our intuition is that just really unseen force that we have, where we know when something is right even though we don't know all the facts related to it, the facts around it. You know, if you like, and this week is trusting yourself. So if you go on a job interview and you just walk into the building and you can have that intuition of like, on paper this looked really good, I was really excited about this, but now that I'm in here, the vibe is just off. Trust yourself. Could be the other way around though. You were like, I don't know about this, but I just applied because I was applying to everything, and now that I'm here, I'm like, yes, this vibe is right. Those types of things is where you trust yourself and trust your intuition. By the way, these are major arcana cards. These are major energies. While the advice of this week is like hooking up with your friends, and then when you have that writer's block, when you have that uncertainty, it's just like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to push through anyway. I don't really have this desire to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go run, but I'm going to force myself to do it and create that habit. Here with the Page of Wands. These are two things that it's kind of like advising you to do this week. But the High Priestess and the Moon, like this is more than this week. This trusting yourself, building that intuition. And we were talking about chakras. So I feel like you really need to work with the solar plexus chakra. And whether that is you just take a moment, put your hand over that, and take some deep breaths right now, or whether that is you find a meditation online for the solar plexus chakra. I feel like that is something that is really important, or could be really important to you, for success for this week. Let's get another card here. What else can you tell us for group 1 for this week? I love that we have building blocks. This is just, and then higher power. So this is one of those weeks that is kind of in the middle of the process. And maybe as you're in it, it doesn't feel significant, but the further away you get from it, you're like, you know what, that break that I took, when I walked away a little bit, when I changed direction, when I changed strategy, that was really, really important. It might just be this one little tiny block here in this whole scheme of my life, but if that didn't happen, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have continued on, I wouldn't have learned this lesson, I wouldn't have made it. So I really see building blocks as a couple of things here. First of all, trust the process, trust yourself, and also kind of this slow and steady wins the race. So many times people give up on things because the progress that they're making isn't huge. All the while, like, the whole point is to make those, to continue to move and make those processes. The Page of Wands would indicate that you're kind of at the beginning of this journey a little bit. It's not like you don't have maybe that full blueprint of your creation, and that's okay. You don't know what you don't know, and it's really time to start with that. You know, I'm kind of getting a little bit of 3 of Pentacles vibes here as well. 3 of Cups is about like those connections with our friends. But 3 of Pentacles has 3 people on it as well, but they're 3 people working together. And when we have building blocks, I see building blocks more connected with the 3 of Pentacles, but I'm bringing that up because I feel like those friendships with the people that you work with are important. Partnerships or working with your friends or cultivating that, maybe some team building exercises, because sometimes we just get into this whole like mundane thing, and it's important to work together as a team and with what you're building and with what you're doing. And then we have higher power. This is really beautiful. This is, again, just very much trust in the process, trust in yourself. When you take a step that's super scary, like God steps with you. You're moving together with the universe. The universe is here to work with you, to step with you. It is listening to those higher callings. I kind of feel like the High Priestess and the Moon, like this is so powerful together. Usually you don't get them both in a reading and then both coming out together like this, and especially with higher power. Listening to our guidance. Our guidance doesn't beat us over the head with options. It might get louder if we're in a situation that is very dangerous, but day-to-day things, we get so cluttered. There's so many things that happen. There's so many things that are fighting for our attention. We've got all of these different social medias. We've got, people wanting us to do things. We've got, neighbors screaming at us. We've got, everywhere we go, we can go down a rabbit hole of even just driving to work, like getting angry or upset about something. There's so many different times when a detour takes us off course. And I see the High Priestess and the Moon is just super quiet, super introspective, and especially the Moon. Usually there's 2 dogs on here. Right here we have a fox, but usually there's 2, or there's different paths that you can take. the dogs are like kind of the wild and untamed, and then which is usually a wolf, and then we have a dog on the other side, which is like loving and kind. And we, you know, even just on our drive to work, we can go down the wild and untamed and give into road rage, or we can just go, you know what, everybody has to get where we're going. I'm just going to let everyone in. If they don't let me in, I'm not going to take it personally. I'm just going to relax, and I know I'm going to get to my journey. I'm going to choose this path. But what's important is that you have choices every single day as to what you're going to put your attention toward, where you're going to place your energy, a lot of energy here, where you are going to, you know, really what's going to happen. Are you going to sit on Instagram and spend 4 hours going through crazy reels that don't even, you know, are maybe entertaining, but, you know, you can't even remember one after you're done with it? Or are you going to put that down, maybe read a book, something that you enjoy, something that you feel maybe a little bit more attached to? Are you going to meditate? Are you going to do some breathing so you can tap into this? Are you going to spend a little bit of time and plan out your next move? Are you going to say, you know what, I've got writer's block here, but I'm just going to sit down and maybe start writing about how my day was, start writing about gratitude, start writing about whatever that is that will get things flowing again. And one more card, we'll just get one more out of this deck to see what it tells us about your energy for this week. Hold your vision, fixed moon. So I kind of feel like maybe you've been off track a little bit, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about, you know, if you're relaxing and taking care of yourself and really spending time in joy, that's perfect. If you get sidetracked for a week, that's fine. Maybe you've been sidetracked all summer and now you're reassessing things and you're not exactly sure how you're going to proceed again. That's okay. We're going to start off with that overall vision. Where do you see yourself a year from now? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Where do you see your life headed? What are your goals? If you're not quite sure, if things have shifted, if things have changed, that's okay. It happens to everybody. But that's why we've got these two ladies here. That's why we've got the High Priestess, and that's why we have the Moon, because we are going to get that back and start heading into that direction. Don't worry that it's going to take time. Don't worry that you're not quite really sure what's going to happen. I also see this Three of Cups very often as our spirit team, your guardian angels, your spirit guides, that guidance system that moves you. So this is just a collection week. You can put in place, you know, push those tides towards something that's really, really important. But don't, like with this healer stone, what we were talking about, you don't have to go crazy to the point where you run yourself down. And in fact, you shouldn't be doing that at all. It should just be like a nice, slow, flowy week. And it will just organically unfold, I think, towards your intention, holding your vision and trusting that higher power pushes you that way. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 2. Thank you so much for being here with me today. We're going to talk about your next week. We're going to talk about this beautiful smoky quartz stone. We're going to get some cards and figure some things out. So I'm just going to move this over here. And we're going to talk about this stone for a little bit. So reasons why you may be attracted to this stone, and I'll tell you what it's for. It's for balance, it's for stability, it's for overall well-being. So this week might be, and Smoky Quartz supports grounding, being grounded in your environment, not letting our mind run away with us, not letting our emotions run away with us. Sometimes when we feel like we're overwhelmed with things, we need to step outside, touch some grass, take our shoes off. There is actually a very, there is a scientific thing about taking your shoes off and putting them actually in the ground. Like that tension, that energy that you feel, it really is grounding. It releases some of those things that have built up. That actually happens. This stone also works with our root chakra, so you might want to think about that. That's our connection to the earth, our connection to maybe even the people around us. Root vegetables also might help you do that. You know, if you think about comfort foods, this is the time of year where we might want to indulge in those kinds of things like mashed potatoes or, you know, carrots. Maybe most people aren't indulging in carrots. Think of comfort foods as all like those starchy kind of foods, macaroni and cheese, and but certainly mashed potatoes, maybe sweet potatoes. Those kinds of foods, they're very, you know, comfort foods. They're very comforting because they're root vegetables. They come from the earth. So, and you might want to feel, you know, we've got the Three of Swords here. We've got the Queen of Cups reversed. We've got the Lovers, and we've got the Lovers reversed. I want to move this over here. And we've got the Three of Pentacles. So this tells me you really do need to be grounded. Not like grounded in your room, but grounded to the earth, feeling like a connection, because these three cards feel very disconnected, where then in a very practical way, Pentacles is related to the physical. Pentacles would be about grounding, like we're talking about this stone. Pentacles is, and it's also this connection with other people, like everybody has their job. So elephant in the room, probably my least favorite card in tarot, and we've got the Three of Swords. This is just a rite of passage of being human though. We've got the Three of Swords, and this is why I wanted to move this over here, with the Lovers reversed. Lovers doesn't always relate to a love, relate to a partner, relate to somebody else. But when we've got the Three of Swords, I feel like it's very much related to that, especially, and the Queen of Cups reversed. Very emotional, very almost like singular, thinking about a broken heart here. Now your broken heart can be, doesn't have to be related to love. Most times it is personal life, our love life, but it can also be related to work. Like you have been putting so much effort into something and it's just not coming out the way you thought it would. I would say a lot of times in that situation, and maybe even in your personal situation too, we have a very distinct vision on how the world should be. What, you know, we have like these goals and ideals, and sometimes things don't live up to that, and we can react in a very kind of emotional way to it. Use your emotion as guidance and don't let it hold you back. The Three of Swords, obviously, you know, we're very focused on our heart chakra maybe, and it's not connected, you know, because I'm feeling this over my heart here, that a little bit of sorrow, and I apologize for whatever you might be going through at the moment. This is all about getting back on track and moving forward and pushing forward. So I just want to tell you this. This is all, if like this is not resonating at all for you, you're in the wrong group. This is all something that when I say heartbreak or something that hurts your heart, you know exactly what I'm talking about right now, okay? Communication as well. It may be strange, like the Lovers is so connected to communication, and communication with others might be strained because we have this emotional component to it that doesn't matter what somebody says, you take it in a very negative way. And I know that you've seen this before, where you make a comment and you don't mean it in any way, and somebody just takes it very, very wrong because of their current worldview and their current perspective, and they're really in their feelings right now. So this is talking about being in your feelings, and everything that you're hearing coming in is not really helping or registering in the right way. That's all right, okay? We've all been here, and this is how we're climbing out of it. First of all, the way that the Queen of Cups would approach this and her feelings is sometimes we don't even, we try to mask them or hide them or push them. At this point, when we've got 3 cards, it's time to deal with them. It's time to look at them. It's time to address those emotions. The strategy that I talked about going outside, connecting with nature, start feeling that connection. And then also, I feel like that's backed up here in the 3 of Pentacles, that those grounding exercises, working on our root chakra. I'm sitting here right now, feet planted firmly on the floor, thinking about my root chakra, which is at the base of my spine, and thinking of that root that is connecting me to the rest of the earth. So a lot of times when somebody breaks our heart, or things are not going the way that we want to or we expect them to, we feel very isolated and alone. The 3 of Pentacles wants you to know that you are not, that there are people around you to support you, that want to be with you, that want to help you rebuild whatever you feel like has been destroyed over here. Sometimes, if this is in regard to a partner, I almost feel like it might be a miscommunication, and we got to check those feelings at the door a little bit. Again, see those emotions, recognize those emotions, maybe even write out a letter, because that helps us put things into perspective a little bit, where we're then able to maybe communicate more clearly what our needs are. I just see the Lovers in reverse next to this 3 of Pentacles as there's something that needs to be worked on here. That's okay. It doesn't mean you have to throw everything out. For some of you, it may be at that point where you're starting over, you're starting from scratch. For others of you, this might be a point of growth, and it's really a growth. Everybody, it's a growth opportunity. Either you are looking at this situation, and maybe you can't at the moment because it's so fresh, but looking at this situation as to, okay, here are my feelings about it. I'm going to pour it out on this page. Whew, why do I feel that way? Is it really, sometimes it's not even really connected to the person you think it is. Sometimes it's connected to an expectation that you had from when you were a child. Maybe, what you've experienced, your grandparents handled something one way and you thought that was just the way to handle it, and now with your current partner you can't understand why they wouldn't handle it that way because that's the way you handle it. And those kinds of things can be a little bit crushing, especially when you feel like things your values aren't really being held up. But that's why we need to take a moment, take a step back, internalize some things with yourself, and figure out why you think things a certain way. And I'll just give you an example. It's not necessarily a heart-crushing thing, but my husband and I, when we were looking at homes, one of the things is, you know, that master bedroom, or I like ranch houses, we'll say that. Or sometimes they have that master suite on the primary suite on the level on the main level. I thought ranch homes were great, and he hates them. He doesn't like them. So we had to have a communication. And what's really weird, what came out of that was, he's from Chicago, from a really terrible neighborhood where his grandparents lived on the second floor apartment because the first floor used to get shot up. So he's like, you never sleep on the first floor. That was one of his rules. And once you realize that, once he says that out loud, then we can work on it. Or then it's like, okay, maybe it's not so important for me that this is the type of home we have because it's more important for him. Or maybe he realizes what he said. But all of this is about communication with somebody else, and we don't get to hear their point of view if we're so emotionally in it that and everything that they say is negative. And that's, so I just really feel like there's some growth here. There's some working on it. There's some moving forward. It's just, there's some attachments to either on your side or their side, or, you know, we all grow up differently. And it's so crazy to me how even people like born into the same families, my brother and I, we see things so differently, even though we were born into the same family and we have so many of the same experiences. We've got co-create, which I love, and then we also have by the book. I kind of feel like, you know, the by the book part is working together with others. I mean, look at how we've got the 3 elephants, we've got the 3 people here working together. Everybody has their role, and maybe, you know, sometimes when roles shift, we've got some growing pains, we've got some negative energy, we've got some negative emotions around that. We're spending time on this spot, this negative energy spot, because things are not on the same page with you and this other person. Maybe this other person is a friend, maybe this is your partner, maybe this other person is a family member, or it could be somebody that you're working with. What these cards, though, are saying when we get co-create and by the book is you're supposed to be working together in harmony. And I really feel like by the book is more here for a family reason, for this, it's about moving forward from here on. And co-create, of course, you know, the 3 of Pentacles is so connected to the co-create, the working together. It's interesting too that the co-create here, we've got a leopard and then we've got an owl. I feel like there's equal parts like action and wisdom that needs to go in this. Wisdom does connect with our emotions more than like knowledge. So we've got knowledge of something, but wisdom is really using our emotions. And I feel like when we're in these 3 cards here with the broken heart, with the Queen of Cups reversed and the Lovers in reverse, we're not allowing our wisdom to flow because we're really in those negative emotions. We're not allowing our intuition to come forward and to speak. So I feel like it's really important for you, again, your feelings about things is really important. You don't want to push them down because it can actually cause negative effects to your body if you don't deal with these emotions. You need to deal with it on a mental level A lot of times we deal with things on a mental level, but we forget to deal with things on that emotional level. We have to deal with things on both levels. And sometimes it's even worse when we deal it on that mental level and not that emotional level. And then you're thinking, because there's a lot of confusion here in these 3 cards, and you're thinking, why am I like this? I mean, logically I shouldn't be, and I should be okay with this, but it's not. Yeah, you gotta sit for a second and think about your emotions in this situation. Where is this coming from? It's okay to dip into those emotions and figure out, because your emotions tell you something. I know people who are working their dream job, but they dread going to work every day. There's a reason why with that. You have to, like, wait a second, I have to examine this emotion. Why is it that this is supposed to be my dream job? I've worked towards this my entire life. I worked so hard, and now that I'm here, I'm not happy with this. Why is that? So there are a lot of questions this week for you. But again, now we have got 3 cards about moving forward from this point once we deal with those emotions. This one wants to come out, so let's believe in the impossible. Yes. So sometimes we get so stuck on something that it feels like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this forever. I've been in this forever. I see no change. It will work out. Believe in the impossible blue moon. And in fact, we just had a blue moon. If you're watching this video when I upload it, we just had a blue moon. That is the name given to the second moon in a calendar month. Second full moon in a calendar month. So full moons happen every 28 days, 28 and a half days. We generally only have 1 per month, but we can get 2 in a month if one happens very early, and then we get the next one. So the energy around blue moons, or the idea is that it's rare. It doesn't, or that it's more likely thought to be rare. There's a lot of times we spend in this negative energy that we just think like, this is the way it's going to be. This is what it's going to be. And I really feel like this isn't forever. This too shall pass. And also, I think you'll climb out of it faster and easier than you think you will once you put the right work to it that we've talked about. When I have these cards, these 3, and this seems like a really kind of difficult reading, but then we get all of these. Like, this is just a learning experience that at some point you're going to look back on, and I don't know if you'll feel thankful about it. I don't know if you'll really want to go through it again, but it's a moment in time that is really making you stronger, that you've really learned something from, and really strengthens the connection that you think is severed and broken here. So that's what I have for you, group 2. I really do. I don't feel like this week is going to be challenging so much. I think it is something that you've been procrastinating, or you haven't had really the time to focus on it, or you didn't even realize that you needed to focus on it. You thought logically you dealt with it, and now we need to deal with our emotions. It's time to release. And actually, it's perfect time because blue moons, full moons, this energy just came up. It's time to release the negative emotions. It's time to release the negative energy. It's time to release the baggage. And I think communications, clear, concise communications that aren't attached to emotions. We're going to remove the emotions around it because we're going to deal with those emotions and make sure that you communicate so that your needs are being met, but also be open to meet other people's needs. This is a very reciprocal relationship. We're getting on the same page. We're moving together because we're supposed to create something together, whether that is at work, you're working with somebody, your family, you're creating your family, your partner, you're creating that home, your friends, we're just working together and creating that friendship. And things get off track all the time. And you may not even realize how emotionally off track you are until this is bringing that up for you, but that's okay. We're purging it and letting it go so that we can move forward, and that's the whole point. So that's what I have for you, Group 2. I hope that you have an amazing week. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 3. Thank you so much for being here with me. We'll get to the cards in a moment, but I want to really spend some time on the stones. So those are important this week because we're going to really dip into what is the reasoning behind them and why you would want to work with them this week. So this is Chrysocolla in Quartz. It is for communication. It heavily impacts our communication. Chakras wise, it connects our third eye, our throat, and our heart chakra. So it brings those things into alignment. Communication is our throat chakra. You know, it impacts our speech, but we're also kind of speaking from our heart and our head. We're bringing those things together, so that throat chakra is in between those two things, and it's that alignment and harmony between those three, allowing you to gain clarity over your needs and desires. It enables us to let go of negative emotions you've held on to, so that we can replace it with some positive things, some positive emotions. So if you felt like you needed to release something, that's what we're here for. So we've got the Queen of Wands reverse, the Hierophant reverse, we've got the Queen of Pentacles, we've got the Four of Cups, and I'm here for this. It's interesting, this talks about emotions. We've got the Four of Cups here, and Four of Cups is one of those cards where I just feel like, I mean, look at her expression here, it's just kind of meh. Like, I'm not really feeling this. I'm not really into this. I've got 4 cups here, but these 3 have kind of spilled. But look at how amazing this 4th one is. And I kind of feel like it's when you have been trying things and emotionally it hasn't worked out, but you haven't quite finished it yet. This is maybe like that last 20%, the last 25% is to push you to the end. And it's interesting that we have it flanked with the Hierophant reverse, and we've got the Queen of Pentacles. We like this Queen of Pentacles. We like the Queen of Wands as well, but she comes in reverse. So you may have been feeling like you're not really wanting to do much. Maybe not very inspired, because look at how beautiful the Queen of Wands is here. She's about she creates creativity. She creates inspiration. She is action. She does things. She moves things. She gets inspired and she will write a book, or she'll get inspired and she'll paint a painting. She'll create pottery. Like very much this creative, beautiful energy. But when we have her in reverse, it feels like we're coming in here blocked, and that might be why we're speaking of the Four of Cups. I almost feel like we need to arrange it a little bit more here. This makes a little bit more sense for how we're playing out here with this reading. So that's okay. I kind of feel like this is how we're coming into the week. Like and this kind of came up with Group 1 as well, where we have a blockage, where we have maybe writer's block, we have this creative block. We just feel like we've been pushing and creating and we're not getting what we want, but it's just that extra 25%, like I said, that we need to push forward, because look at how beautiful we have over here. Now the Hierophant in reverse, I mean, it's a beautiful card. It's moving forward, it's stepping forward, of course. But when we have him in reverse, it is maybe going at your own path. Where you have been looking isn't quite working, and it's time to do your own thing. The Hierophant is usually kind of like the Pope card. We've got like a very religious figure on it, and then we have two people who are listening to him preach. I also feel like you might be, he's a guru as well. Like, he is that person that you're seeking, you're looking for advice. And sometimes we just can't find that person, so we have to become that person. Seekers become finders, and I feel like you might need to think outside the box a little bit, get out of your comfort zone. And the reward is this beautiful Queen of Pentacles. The reward is in a very material way. Money. The Queen of Pentacles also, she is grounded, and she is she's grounded, she's connected to money, but she's also connected to her family. She has that balance, that work-life balance. When I see her Queen of Pentacles, I think it's a song, you know, she brings home the bacon and fries it up in the pan. So she can do so much. I think a lot of what is holding you back from that is perhaps inspiration and focus, because I think it's your focus on what hasn't worked to what will work. It was some famous scientist who was talking about he appreciates when something doesn't work out. He has a theory and he likes it when things don't work out, because then he rules that out and he narrows his focus towards what really will work out. But most of us, we kind of focus on the past. We look behind us, we think about the things that didn't work out, and I just really feel like this part here is like living at the past rather than moving towards the future, which is what we really need to do this week. Move towards that future, push towards that future, and what is it that we want to work out? Also, my family is big in, well, I'm thinking about my skiing. I took skiing lessons as a kid, but also my family is really big into mountain biking. In fact, my brother was a professional mountain biker for a while, but you need to look where you want to go. And that is so true when you're on skis. That is so true when you're on your bike. You look where you want to go. Maybe in your peripheral, you see a tree over here. Well, if you look at that tree, you're going to hit that tree. So many of us, we look at our problems because we don't want to go there. But what that ends up happening is we manifest that. And I almost feel like this is kind of a cycle of manifesting what you don't want, because you're kind of focused on that rather than focusing on what you do want. The Hierophant, I feel like, is here because it is a shake-up for you. It's a new way of thinking about it. But when you keep repeating something that isn't working, what you don't want to work out, then you have to think of new ways to accomplish that. And I feel like also, I love that the Queen of Pentacles, like, she's got her hand on that money. She's not letting go. I mean, just because you enjoy your job, you enjoy what you do, doesn't mean you do it for free. I remember a salesperson used to say that all the time at a company I worked for. He's like, we really love being in this business, but not enough to do it for free. And saying that when he was in sales, breathe, kind of broke the ice a little bit to the people who he was trying to sell to. Loyal heart. Beautiful. So I love the juxtaposition here of the loyal heart with the Four of Cups, because like I said, this Four of Cups kind of reminds me of the not really excited about anything. And the Queen of Wands, I mean, she's in reverse, but she would be so excited about stuff. She wants to create, she wants to do something, but this kind of just feels like a circle or a spiral that we just need to break. I feel like the loyal heart, of course, like loyalty to your family, your partner, your who you work for, but it's also like loyalty to yourself. And when we've got the Queen of Pentacles here, loyalty to who you really are. When you are stepping out of your comfort zone, you're stepping out of the process, let's say, that for whatever reason you thought that this process was supposed to work for you, this is what everybody does, this is how it's supposed to be done, and you create your own way, like it's gratifying and loyal to yourself. It's also interesting here when we were talking about Chrysocolla, because we've got the heart chakra. Well, this Queen of Pentacles would probably be more the root chakra. But we got the heart chakra, like being loyal to that heart. However, green is heart energy. And then I love breathe. I love breathe, especially when we're talking about Chrysocolla and those chakras, because that breath, that I just feel like that kind of this moment to release the tension that we have in this cycle over here that we're moving out of. We're going to stop repeating it, because we're going to move forward here in this beautiful new adventure where you're following your heart and you're following your goals and you're creating this lovely future that you really want. You're just not inspired to over here. We're moving into this inspiration. I feel like the breathing here is almost like an interruption of this cycle. It's this moment where we take a breath, release that tension. I know I do this in the beginning of the readings too, but it's important to set intentions. It's important to clear your mind. Release this negative energy, release this past, release this so that you can listen to and follow your heart. So, oh, I've got one more card to pull here. I was like, oh, it comes right away. I'm laughing because this is the perfect card. The end of a tough cycle approaches full moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth energy, and full moons are about setting those intention for release. It's powerful energy that we would want to work with and work for. So it's setting those intentions for that, to become this Queen of Pentacles. It's setting those intentions for money and for status and for, like I said, that work-life balance that we really want. We're setting intentions here, and so just breathe. The end of the tough cycle approaches, so we're breaking the cycle and moving forward, and we're doing it with intention and following your heart and speaking your truth. I kind of hate that term, speaking your truth. Tell me if you like it or not. I feel like everybody uses it and it kind of has no meaning, but it has meaning here for you to move forward, especially when we're talking about connecting those chakras, that third eye chakra. So I think the Hierophant is very much connected to that third eye chakra, that seeing without seeing kind of thing, and connecting your heart and your head. So that's what I have for you, Group 3. I hope that you have an amazing week. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading.